Hey, hello everybody. Welcome. Just Scott here tonight. I am vacationing in the Rocky Mountains. I don't know what my quality is going to be like here. Probably not good. I apologize. But I had such a pretty setting here. Of course, had some whiskeys with me, brought along, and I realized I had a Laphroaig single cask that I'd bought at Binny's a while back in Chicago. And I thought, why don't I do a live? You probably can't see it. There is a mountain stream back here behind me. Beautiful setting, beautiful area. We're south of Rocky Mountain National Park. So beautiful area, beautiful park. But anyway, bear with me as well. It is just me. Bart is not with me. I do have a couple whiskeys here, of course, mainly looking at the Laphroaig. So this is a single cask that Benny's picked out, and there were 297 bottles available. It's a 9-year-old, matured in a Pedro Jimenez hogshead. Great color on it. Fact is, I need to pour a little bit more. I mean, not great Pedro Jimenez influence here, just a little bit of finish maturation going on. It was bottled at 62.2%. And I see Gene Byers, Donner Pass Whiskey, and Christopher Malloy tuning in. And it's just hello, dummy. Oh, yeah, he does say hello, dummy, not hello, dummies. So 62.2%. This was a 9-year-old. This was on sale at Binny's for $199, which is pretty pricey for a 9-year-old single cask. Fact is, it was on sale from $249 for a 9-year-old single cask Laphroaig at Binny's. Somebody that I talked to as well, somewhere along the lines that had worked or does work at Binny's. And they said when they got that cask in, and they priced it at $250, $249, they thought that was pretty high for it. Being on sale at $199, a lot better. Still pretty pricey for a 9-year-old single cask, but it is it's worth it, I think. I've been into it, had it a couple of times, and I don't know what my video quality is like. The Wi-Fi isn't that great here. It is using Starlink though, so it's the first place I've been with Starlink. Upload speeds are only around 7 to 8 megabytes. That's kind of low end for live streaming, but hopefully I turned down my video quality a little bit. Hopefully it's all right. I see Jeff Mill tuning in. The other half of Gene Byers, multicasting. Canadian Chris. Brittany Williams. Brittany Williams is in Denver. I am up by Nederland, north of Black Hawk, south of Rocky Mountain National Park, where we spent a couple of days. Real beautiful area. So is this. So Peter White, saying double the price of the Pedro Jimenez PX. Guess I can be highlighting these as well. Double the price of the Carchus. Yep, pricey. Christopher Malloy. Oops. Solid pass. Yeah. I really don't see too many single cask Laphroaigs outside of the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. I do have a couple of those with me as well. But even our Laphroaigs, that we've been getting have been a little bit older, up in the 20s. I would like to see us release some, in that 10 to 15 year age range. I think we've had a couple over the last couple of years, and it's our prices are cheaper than that. But anyway, I don't see too many single cask Laphroaigs and Pedro Jimenez matured ones. So if it was $249, I probably wouldn't have bought it. Being on sale for $199, I picked it up. Looking at comments real quick. Kyle Taylor tuning in. Kyle was able to visit the SMWS establishments in Scotland this summer for the first time. Took 3 total newbies, and they all left with a good appreciation of what they do. I had the best Kalila I've had. Yeah. And I'm really not, I didn't want to come on and just talk about SMWS, but we do have, speaking of Kalila, I brought along. This is a brand new one. It's still available. The 12-year-old Menage of Smoke. This is a double maturation in Oloroso sherry casks, and it is magnificent. It's a stunner. Love it. Multicasting. I'm not doing the Denver SMWS tasting. I won't be here that long. We're almost, in fact, is tomorrow or Saturday heading back. Brittany Williams. Not, I wanted to hit Apple Jacks on the way through. I usually do. We did not stop this time. We actually came through Boulder to the north a ways. I didn't swing back to the south to go to Apple Jacks. Mamuka tuning in. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing, Scott? Beautiful place. Yeah, it is a real nice Airbnb that we got for the week up here. And I don't know if I'll be able to. You can't see too much the way the light's hitting. We are right along a stream, though. It's really nice. Get the sound of the moving water. Smoked a couple of cigars, drank some good whiskey, had some good wine. And Eric Waite Whiskey Studies tuning in. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Pedro Jimenez, I think that's the name. Oh, of my landscaper. Come on, Eric. Christopher Malloy, the only Kalila. Oops. Jimmy Jazz tuning in. How are you, Jimmy Jazz? One Glass Man. Hi, Scott. Good to catch you live. Nice bottles on display. That's a few that I brought along for the week. But good whiskey, good wine, good food. Me and the girlfriend, by the way, hanging out. Nice summer vacation. Took a week off. Been on vacation. Brittany Williams is asking, have you reviewed Macallan edition number 6? Do you think it's overpriced? Bart and I have done, outside of the edition number 1, we did have at a later time, but since edition 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we've got reviews of all of those posted. I love them. I think they're great additions. The 6 was getting pricey. Problem is now you're probably finding some secondary market prices on those. I don't know if you'd find those on the shelf still at a reasonable price. Tom R tuning in. I have not had any rum this week, Tom. Sorry about that. Well, not really. And hopefully my audio and video okay here. Like I say, Wi-Fi upload speeds were not the best, and I didn't think to bring a mic along with me either, so I'm using the AirPods. Hopefully video and audio is okay. So I won't be live that long. I just want to kind of pop in with the Rocky Mountains and I don't know if you can hear the stream moving, the river beside us here, but you sleep very good with the windows open and that stream rolling by through the night. Gets down into it's been in the 40s and 50s at nighttime, 70s in the day. Just beautiful weather. We've kind of lucky. Brittany is saying that the edition 6 still available for 170 locally. It hasn't. I think that's. See, the others moving up to that one were in started about the 110 to 120 range, slowly crept up, and then I think that lasted. It went from like 130 to 140, all of a sudden up to 170, and I think that was kind of normal pricing on it. So, I mean, it's up to you. I love Macallan. I've got my Macallan 12 here. It made the journey with me. It's a go-to. It's always good whiskey. Consistent, and I loved all the additions as well. So Christopher Malloy, why isn't Bart in the chat? Bart is probably still at work. Let's see, at 7:30 back home. He's probably on his way home. Oh, Tom R, he pulled one out there. Scott just opened up my edition 1 at the Scotch for Dummies gathering. People like being able to try it. I bet so. That was a rare one, more limited release than the others. At the time, was not available in Kansas, where Bart and I are at. I do remember seeing that, though, in Texas when I was on vacation and shopping around down there, when it was first out, and it was $90 or $100 a bottle. I didn't pick one up because I was like, well, I'll get it, back in Kansas at some point. It'll show up there. And come to find out, Kansas was one of those states that didn't bring it in. Don't know why. So I never saw edition number 1 again. We had a fan, though. After edition 2 came out, still had edition 1 in some of the eastern states, was still on some shelves, still retail prices around $100. He did pick us up a bottle, sent it to us. We did open it and review it. And I still have about 3/4 of that bottle because I just don't go to it that often. It was pretty rare. Those suckers, though, not that long ago, were going for like $1,500, maybe more. Secondary market for a sealed edition number 1. Brittany Williams is asking, do you think Suits is the reason that the price of Macallan 18 has become ridiculous? I don't know about that. Macallan prices are ridiculous all around. It's good whiskey. It is pricey. The 18-year-old, when it was $220, $230, I thought was high. Now it's $350. So Peter White is saying the Spey Malt 2000-2001 Macallan cask strength from Gordon and MacPhail seems to be the sought-after Macallan these days. I bet so. In fact, one of the best ones I had was a Spey Malt Macallan Gordon MacPhail. It was a 38-year-old Macallan, though. And several years ago, another buddy that I met up with used to buy those 8 years ago. They were like $300. The Gordon MacPhail Spey Malt, it was a 38-year-old Macallan. They were going for like $300. He bought as many of them as he could. Gave me some samples. It was just gorgeous, just a delicious whiskey, outstanding price. And of course, it didn't take long where those bottles had gone up, and they were going for, I remember, $900 to $1,000. A couple of years later, because I was like, "Ooh, I need to get me, one of those as well." Never did, and those were. I want to say that was a 1971 Macallan, bottled in 2009 or 2010, and just stunner, just a stunning whiskey. Juan Quintanilla tuning in. What's up, Juan? Aloha, dummies. Aloha, Juan. I am in the Rocky Mountains for those that are tuning in late on vacation for the week. The girlfriend and I came up, got an Airbnb. There is a stream rolling right by me here. Beautiful place. We are north of Black Hawk, up by Nederland, south of the Rocky Mountain National Park. We spent a couple of days up there. Just a beautiful area, gorgeous. And a nice super chat from Mamuka, $20. Thank you. Thanks, Mamuka. Scott, enjoy your vacation with your family. Have fun. Cheers. You're great. We appreciate you and thank you for everything. So everybody else, I hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful time. Cheers, Mamuka. If I had my cowbell, I would ring it. More cowbell. Nate Trout asking. I haven't seen Nate Trout tune in before. What's your favorite Aaron expression? Oh, I've had, I've heard really good things about some of their newer bottlings, which I haven't had the opportunity to try. I've had older bottlings from like 6 to 8 years ago, and they were okay. They weren't anything that special, I didn't feel, but their newer offerings, people are really digging. They've been getting a lot of attention, and I'd like to be able to find some of those newer bottlings to try. Christopher Malloy says he's bought his last Macallan. You can buy it and send it to me. How's that? Yo Jimbo tuning in. He says, I got two 20-year-old Spey Malt. That'd be the Gordon and Macallans we were talking about, 1999 bottles. Nice. Brittany Williams says, 25 years ago, I paid $45 each for a 1978 18-year-old and two 1979 18-year-old Macallans on sale from $80 each. Still has them unopened because I prefer the 12. Boy, the 18s though from that time frame are quite a bit different from what I hear. I haven't had the opportunity to try them. I have, even when you look at pictures though, those older bottlings had so much more sherry influence compared to what today's editions are getting. But GCAP, I see tuning in. Has Scott disclosed what the DIRTF and the peated SMWSs are? I did. So I did talk. This is one that was. I didn't want to make this an SMWS show, but I brought several bottles of good whiskey with me for the week. This is one that should still be available. The 12-year-old Kalila that's on the site now, Menage of Smoke. This is a gorgeous whiskey, 56.4% double maturation, bourbon hogshead, and then first fill ex Oloroso hogshead. As soon as I popped this one and tasted it, I knew I was bringing it with me to Colorado. And Glory Days, 24.167. Speaking of Macallan, right there, 13-year-old ex Sherry Butts and first fill ex Oloroso hogshead, 63.3%. This was a 13-year-old Macallan SMWS released earlier this year. Yeah, probably March, April timeframe, February, March, April. Gorgeous whiskey. That is single cask strength, exclusive Oloroso matured Macallan, and it was to die for. Mamuka. I still got Deanston 20-year-old official bottlings, two of them. I drink one before I shared one, and now I'm thinking like when my kid hits 16, I'm going to open up another. That's the special bottle. I've heard good things about some of those older Deanston 20-year-olds, but I haven't really talked too much. This is the Binny's Laphroaig single cask. They came out with out of Chicago. Pedro Jimenez. It was a 9-year-old, 62.2% ABV. This was a stunning whiskey as well. I would like to see SMWS get out a few more younger Laphroaigs. We've had some, up in the 20s and 30-year-old, close to 30-year-old Laphroaigs. I'd like to see some in that 10 to 15-year range. George Kaplan had to get the 53. That's the Kalila after my expression once trying it. Yeah, that's a good one. Menage of Smoke, 53.441. The One Glass Man, Warner, says Macallan Terra at 43.8%, not bad at all for a travel retail bottling. I don't believe I've ever got a chance to try that. Bart's wife did pick him up a Macallan travel retail when she was traveling once, and I don't remember if that was the Terra or not. We did review it. So honestly, the last Macallan, from the Harmony collection, the Arabica, I really did not care for that whiskey, and I think that's really been the first Macallan that I've had that I just didn't hit my palate. Didn't care for it. Oh, I see OJ for Hire tuning in now. How are you, OJ? Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, Eric Waite just picked up the 16-year Laphroaig. Really nice, but much more mild and delicate than the typical Laphroaig. Yeah. And fact is, I had a bottle of an older bottling of the Laphroaig 18-year that I opened with my girlfriend and tried, and it had been a while since I had that one, and I was like, wow, this is that was a stunning whiskey as well. The older Laphroaig 18, but Bart and I did the Laphroaig 16, and it was good too. It didn't really have the wow factor, but I don't know what everybody else thought. Now, I see Christopher Malloy, he's got the Laphroaig 16. He doesn't think it's as good as the old 15 year. So that would be neat to try as well. Actually, that'd be all three of those, the old 15 and the old 18 and the new 16. That's an interesting tasting right there. Now, see, there's the palette that it hit from Mamuka. Last one I picked up was the Macallan Harmony Arabica. $180. I think it's a great buy. See, that was now last year's the one before that, the Rich Cocoa. I loved it. Fact is, I got 3 or 4 bottles of it, maybe. But the Arabica just did not. I don't know. I didn't care for it. Wasn't, maybe it's just because it wasn't the typical Macallan that I expect when I get a Macallan. It's a richer, sweeter sherry, and it was a little bit different. I don't know. That was my palate anyway. All right. Well, I think I'll wrap this one up. Thanks everybody tuned in. Just want to make it a quick one and make everybody jealous of me being in the Rocky Mountains. But it is hot. It's been hot back in Kansas, Wichita, probably setting some records, well over 100 degrees, many days. And like I say, it's been up in the 70s here, down in the 40s and 50s at nighttime. The Rocky Mountains, beautiful area. And there's Jason, the Mash and Drum, tuning in. Hey, Scotty, hope you're doing well, buddy. Thanks, Jason. I am doing good on vacation. First week I've taken off for quite a while. It's well worth it. Robert Cabral. The Laphroaig 18 is by far my favorite, only to be outdone by the 30-year-old. I don't know if I ever had the Laphroaig 30 off of the shelf, the official bottling. But yeah, the Laphroaig 18, it'd been a while since I'd had it. When I when I opened up an older bottle of it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this one. Delicious whiskey. Yo Jimbo recently bought a Highland Park Ice edition. I did pick up the dark edition when it was out because it was sherry matured, sherry finished. That one I really liked. It was pricey though too at the time, 200 and some dollars, 230, 250, I want to say maybe. But that was a good one as well. Eric Waite saying it's 55 here in Half Moon Bay. A little chilly. Peter White worked for 7 years in the Rockies. Not jealous. LOL. There's a good question for everybody before we wrap it up. Moving into the bourbon world from Nate Trout. Of all the overhyped Buffalo Trace bourbons, which has impressed you the most? The one of my favorites, and I don't think it's overhyped, from the BTAC edition, and that's the Stag, the George T. Stag every year. For the most part, consistently good, just outstanding whiskey. Saying that though, I would buy it for up to $300 a bottle, maybe 250 to 300. Anything over that though, no, pass. Yeah, and Peter White is a green George T. Stag. A lot of people really like the Weller. I've had Weller, the Weller BTAC, a couple of samples. It doesn't have the depth and the character that the George Stag does. There was one of the Wellers, though. I've had several people tell me, I want to say like the 2019 edition, or the 2017 or 2019 of the Weller BTAC, and they say it's just one of the best whiskeys ever, and even better than the snags that have come out. Yeah, so there's Peter White, George T. Stagg, Mamuka. He says the Stag as well, even though it's overpriced, it's still good, and you can still get, I would say if you can get it for a reasonable price. So, what's some of the other Buffalo Trace overhyped editions? The E.H. Taylors, some of them have been pretty decent, but they're not Stag quality. Peter White says the old William LaRue Weller that was 19 years old, but that is worth a car. So that's probably one of the older editions too, if it was 19 years old. One Glass Man says it's interesting that the Elijah Craig barrel proofs will come with variable age statements from now on. Yeah, and Bart and I just reviewed B523, and it's not near as good. It's 11 years, 5 months old. And we were sipping along. It's like, okay, it's good. It's okay. It's there. It's normal quality. And as we were doing the review, going through it, I was kind of like, I don't know, it's fallen a little subpar to me. And so we pulled out an older, I want to say C922 maybe, or C921, and popped it and tried it side by side, and world of difference. The new Elijah Craig barrel proof, definitely lighter on the palate than older edition. So hopefully that's just B523 batch. Nate Trout says A123 really impressed him. Yeah, A123 was good as well. And I don't know if you've had a chance to try the B523 yet. I don't. I think some other reviewers out there are kind of finding the same thing with it as well. So hopefully they can bring it back. I mean, I can tell, Elijah Craig not skip the age statement or keep it at least 12 years, but they're not going to listen to me. So Mamuka says that around here, the Weller Special Reserve is $80 plus. That's the green label Wellers. That's a $20 bottle. And it's crazy. People are marking them up that much now. That's a good whiskey. I like Wellers. I've bought it several times. I used to buy it, and the special, and the antique 107 and Weller 12. Everybody remember when those were on the shelves? That was a long time ago, it seems like. Donner Pass Whiskey is halfway through his A117, A117. I had stashed for years. It's really good. What was the ABV on that one? That was before. Well, that was before they started putting the batch number on there, just by the proof. The ABV you had to go by. 69.7, I think, was the first one that I had. Bart and I had 69.7%. And that was a beautiful, beautiful bourbon. One of the best that I've had. Peter White says the Parker's Heritage single barrel that he had was only 11 years old, and nobody turned their nose up at it. I bet not. No, I've had a couple different samples from Parker's Heritage. They've been real well. I remember one of my favorites was their no, I say that was it their wheat, Parker's Heritage wheat. Yeah, from probably 2019, 2018, 2019, somewhere in that frame. Oh, Don Nishida tuning in. Don, how are you? He says, Aloha, Scott. Finally got to meet Tom Smith in person in Seattle at the Dave Broom event. Great people. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Well, I think I'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, coming along with me here in the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, we're right at the 30-minute mark, so it's about time to wrap it up. Appreciate it, and check out the SMWS, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. If you don't know what that is, go to smwsa.com. You can go to scotchtestdummies.com. Check out our website and our merchandise, help support the show. And I got some SMWS bottles here with me. I've got a Macallan 12 and a Laphroaig single cask. It's going to be a good week. Cheers, everybody. Guess I should say cilantro, dummies.